I really want Tesla to actually make a smart trailer of some kind, okay? And it's not just because, it's a cool looking trailer and because the Cybertruck looks so weird, we need a trailer to match the design aesthetic and that kind of thing. No, from a functional standpoint, a lot of people know that one of the weaker points of electric vehicles, and obviously it's brought up a lot with the Cybertruck because one of the flagship tech specs with this vehicle was how much it's able to tow, but electric vehicles lose a significant portion of their range when they are towing a vehicle. Now, to be completely fair, gas vehicles also lose a lot of range when towing as well, so it's not inherently an EV problem, but the potential stored energy in battery packs is a lot lower than the potential stored energy of a gas tank, and that's why you see such massive range loss in an EV once it has a bunch of weight it's pulling around with it. But there are technical ways out there to combat this, and I'm not saying that the Cybertruck will require its own smart trailer of some kind, but for those people who are out there willing to pay because a smarter trailer would be kind of expensive, it could dissolve a lot of that range anxiety and a lot of that compromise you have to put up with when driving around an electric vehicle. People online have already modified previous existing Teslas, not that Tesla is super happy about this, but people have built battery packs into trailers and essentially allowed you to match the equivalent range of what the EV can do without towing, and in fact sometimes, depending on the battery pack in that trailer, exceed the range of what the vehicle is originally estimated for, because you could just have this giant battery pack in the base of the trailer that could provide that extra energy needed to move all of this extra weight when you need to. Now, obviously, large battery packs like that are expensive, so I'm not necessarily saying you have to put the same size battery pack in the Cybertruck that you put in the trailer. In my opinion, they could just put enough batteries into the trailer that it could result in the idea that the Cybertruck, the tri-motor version, it can go 500 miles on a charge, and then when you connect to the Tesla smart trailer or whatever, you can still go 500 miles on a charge because you have that extra battery pack in there pulling the extra weight. Not to mention, big trailers like this typically have brakes built in that also brake on the trailer wheels along with the brakes of the vehicle, so why not also have regenerative braking on the trailer that can help recharge its battery during the parts of the trip where you're on the downhill. This would obviously require a lot more hardware to be built into the Cybertruck as well, being able to charge the vehicle from the trailer hitch area. Probably a bit more to plug in than a typical trailer, which just supports, the brakes and the tail lights. This would be probably something a little bit beefier that I'm sure Tesla could come up with, maybe something that looks somewhat like a Tesla supercharger cable that plugs in at the back there. But the other big advantage here that could help prolong range a lot is when you're towing a big trailer like this, you have an insane amount of surface area. And what is Tesla pushing a lot right now outside of EVs? Solar. That's right. I know. I do read your comments. People bring this up all the time, and I know solar is kind of pricey, but at least this would be out there as an option. I'm sure it would not be the most affordable trailer out there. In fact, it would probably be one of the most expensive accessories you could possibly buy for your Cybertruck. But can you just imagine for a second the ability to tow around all of the hunting gear or all of the equipment you want to bring with you for your job, and the idea that if you're in the sun and you have all of this surface area surrounding the trailer, you get to add all of that energy back into the truck, whether it's parked or moving, making it more energy efficient so it costs less to operate. And if you're parked somewhere for a prolonged period of time, you could potentially add a lot more range to your vehicle because, as we see at least with this concept, you have plenty of flat panel surfaces to put solar on. In my previous video talking about how feasible is solar on the Cybertruck, we learned that just using the flat surface top ceiling area of the truck could give you around 15 miles per day. Now, obviously, you're consuming way more energy when you're towing this trailer around, but being able to offset that with more solar panels on the side of the trailer, the front of the trailer, the top. I'm not saying it'll be self-sufficient unless, of course, you're leaving it parked for, days at a time maybe, but it could absolutely help pull that extra weight. And because EVs are containing so much less potential energy than a gas truck, I think they need to collect as much energy as possible in the most eco-friendly way as possible. And I know battery production is probably a big constraint, so I'm not saying you have to put 50 kilowatt hour battery packs in the trailer, maybe something smaller like 25 or less. And even if that extra battery or that regenerative braking and all that solar doesn't necessarily let you hit that 500 mile range mark, it still would help significantly. And I think there's enough businesses and there's enough markets out there that would be willing to pay a lot for a trailer that could result in them not having to stop as much, not having to charge as much. Not to mention, it's going to be kind of tricky even with this setup. Even if this isn't a smart trailer, even if it's just a regular trailer you're towing around with your Cybertruck, it's going to be kind of tricky at supercharging stations. There are some superchargers that let you pull all the way through, in which case supercharging supercharging the Cybertruck would be pretty easy, but most of the ones I've been to typically have stalls that you have to back into, in which case, if you were towing this, you would have to unhitch the trailer somewhere in order to supercharge the Cybertruck and then get hooked up back again. And it would just be a very complicated and long, annoying process on a road trip, because currently there's not really a way of knowing what type of supercharger you're going to. Is it the kind that you can drive all the way through, or is it the kind that I'm gonna have to unhook my trailer in order to charge my truck? Very cumbersome, and for a company that's so built on autonomy and the ease of driving and you don't have to think about it, this would absolutely destroy a lot of those circumstances. So what I'm hoping is, in time, Tesla can start designing some more trailer-friendly supercharge stations, or maybe with the rollout of the Tesla Semi, they can let Cybertrucks somehow supercharge there, because mega chargers most likely will let you pull all the way through, because that's what semis are going to need to do. So there's several things they could do to combat this, but it's still a fact that towing trailers that have a lot of stuff in them and hurt your range a lot is going to be a big weakness of the Cybertruck when it first comes out. I'm not saying it's going to kill the product. I understand the majority of trucks I see on the road today are not towing anything, and the Cybertruck will still be a solid buy for so many of you. But to sweeten the deal, this type of accessory, in my opinion, makes a way bigger difference and should take more priority over the Cyberquad, which is cool and fun and all that, but probably not as big a concern as the towing stuff. How do you guys think Tesla should handle the towing dilemma? Feel free to hit me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, let's chat more about it there. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.